If you've been in a situationship, manipulationship with a narcissist, whether you're a man or a woman, you know how exhausting of an experience this was. It was very devilish, to say the least. And if you got out, thank God. If you got out to be able to share your story, thank God. If you got out and you're alive to be able to share your story, that is a blessing. Today we're going to hear a story from a survivor who has survived a 4-year relationship with a narcissist. Let's hear what this survivor has to share with us today. And if you're interested in booking your free interview session to share your story, please look in the description box below. Okay, so are you freshly coming out of a narcissistic situation?
Yeah.
So
he is now engaged to someone he's known for a month.
Oh, wow.
After our breakup, he went on a reality TV show to look for love.
Wow.
And then has been love bombing someone he found for my following list. He had production reach out to her.
Oh, wow.
So she can go on this show. And I guess he wanted me to not know about the show and see them together when she posted him. I don't know, but I figured it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So engaged a month into knowing each other and moved her into my house that's in my name.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's painful.
It's been a lot. Everyone, these narcissists, they surround themselves by enablers. And it's like everyone is just they're more fascinated by who the person is than who he truly is at his core. And whenever I have spoken, when he got physical with me, I confided in someone that I met through him that told me she also was in an abusive relationship. So I felt like I was, I could open up, and she went back and told him everything. So I feel like I've been silenced with everything going on, and I feel like now I'm slowly starting to seek help and try to join communities where I can share my story.
Yeah.
Cause it's just insane.
Yeah. Wow.
It's I feel like I'm living a nightmare. It doesn't end. It's you get to a, you're healing, and you get to a point where you're okay, I have to put my best foot forward. But every time I put my best foot forward, this person does something to get a reaction. Yeah. And it's no one sees this. And the best way I could describe it to people is I feel like I'm in the ocean and I'm drowning and I'm waving and asking for help, and people are just standing there with their phones out. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe that. Oh my goodness. Do you mind if I ask you to share with us, how did you guys meet? Can you tell me a little bit about the beginning of this?
We met through mutual friends.
Okay. And how was that in the beginning? So what type of relationship did this start out as?
He was extremely charming. Extremely charming. And I think, now we learn what narcissism is, and now there's there's just more out there for people to educate themselves on it. But let's go back years and years ago, that wasn't even a thing where people even knew what to label that person besides an a-hole,
Toxic.
And he was just extremely charming. Everything, you're not supposed to, they say you're not supposed to say everything that you want to someone. You're supposed to get to know them and stuff like that, because with them, like, you could, innocently be thinking that you're just having a casual conversation with someone and you're sharing, what is it that you're looking for. But then reality, a narcissist, what they're doing is that they're doing homework and they just copy and paste what you're saying, and then they reflect that onto you. So for me, when I had met him, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I found my person, like everything that I've ever wanted in a person.
Yeah.
And none of it is true. None of it is true. And I didn't have enough discernment at that time to know that.
Yep. At what point within the 4 years did you notice, or would you say that it got kind of really bad?
I would say 6 months. I would say the first year he was actually separated from his ex, but going through the divorce and that process, which for me, I feel like that's a red flag that I ignored, and I should have just waited till the person was actually like divorced, and way after they were divorced.
Gotcha.
But I feel like the first year I was groomed. I feel like I was groomed, and then it's also COVID, and I'm going through it by myself. So then when someone comes around, and I had like no family, no friend, nothing. Like, it was just me by myself the entire time. So I feel like it was the perfect type of storm. But I would say a year and a half from the beginning is when we moved in together.
Okay.
And which would, at that point, it would be 6 months from moving in together is when I started to like feel something's off. Something is off, and I don't know what it is, but the talking down started, the gaslighting started, the name calling started, the very like abrasive attitude started, and I'm like, okay, this is not okay.
Okay. How did you handle the change with him? Were you like the defensive type? Were you the quiet type? How did it go with you seeing and noticing that switch up?
I feel like when I spoke up, and the topic was actually following a whole bunch of like Instagram models that are half naked, and that was the topic of discussion, and I said that it's very disrespectful, as to be doing that when he's in a committed relationship. And he would be like, that's disrespectful to you. I'm not gonna, like, if you don't like it, you can pack your things and you can go. And I think at that point I was like, okay, whatever, like I just brushed it off. And then now looking back, I saw that that's when the abuse started, where I'm silencing myself because I'm starting to walk on eggshells. Because if I say anything or if I speak up about something that I don't like, then immediately I'm shut down, or I'm told like you could leave, like you the door's right there. They always tend to threaten you with like, no one's holding you back, you could leave, you can pack your things and go. And then automatically, psychologically, you're like, no, I'm not, like, that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm just trying to have a conversation. So it's horrible that people are like this.
Yeah, it really is. It's heartbreaking, to be deceived like that, and then you wake up and it's this monster, and you can't get away from it almost at that point. So you kind of mentioned some of the stuff that he was doing. Is there anything that stands out to you right now that you would like to share? What it sounds like maybe you were dealing with a cheater or someone who liked attention. Okay. So there was probably a lot of like cheating acts. So
a lot of cheating.
Okay. So what type of stuff? Yeah.
At that point, I started seeing like emojis under girls' pictures and all of this stuff. And I actually had my Instagram deactivated. I purposely activated it again because I'm like, what's going on? And that person took advantage of I'm a very private person. So I never wanted to be posted on social media. But at that point, that person is portraying to be single on social media. And I have a problem with that. So I'm like, this isn't right. Like, this is not okay. And I started noticing as he was going like out of town that, you know, he's with someone, but I couldn't find the actual proof. And it wasn't until 6 months after of starting to look that I actually was able to find the evidence.
Wow.
And it was, you know, like, I'm here taking care of his kids and his responsibilities and his dogs and taking care of home and cooking and cleaning and doing everything that a wife would do, but I'm not a wife. And that person is in another state cheating and going out to plays and you know, and dinner and karaoke with their friends and like living this double life. And after that, we actually broke up for about 3 months and, you know, said it was a mistake and nothing ever happened and gaslighting, and, you know, there was just nothing between us. She came on to me because I actually caught a flight to go confront him and the person. And even then I was being gaslighted, like, oh no, she came on to me and this, that, and the third, and told that person that I'm a crazy ex-girlfriend and I just can't get over him. And I'm like, so I finally had a conversation with that person a month after I confronted them, and I had to prove to this girl, like, here's my light bill, here's our car insurances, here's all our stuff, and prove to her that I'm not some crazy ex-girlfriend. And, you know, they stopped seeing each other, but then, you know, I find another one in July. Then, you know, after that, I find out there's let's just say there's over the double digits of women that I've uncovered.
Wow.
And at that point, I'm invested. I'm here at 3 years and I'm attached to kids and I've already built a life. So I'm like, okay, well, I invested this much and I've poured myself this much into a family. I can't just walk away. Like, you know, what does a partner do? Okay, let's go to therapy. Let's put you in something like you need help. Let's try to get you help. And that was in August. And from there on, it was just every month I found something. Every month I found him cheating. And I'm like, this person's just getting better at hiding it. They're not actually doing the work. And they make you doing the work, but they're never doing the work. They're just playing a game of chess, trying to be better. And I said, there's no point of me saying anything. At that point, I found in September, then October, then November, and December was the last time. And December, I said, this is enough. There's no point of me even saying anything at this point if I'm going to stay. Because at this point, this person's saying, well, you're going to stay. You're not going anywhere. And I was told those exact words. You're not going anywhere.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, do I want to be that person? Do I want to be that woman? Everyone knows that woman that stays with a cheating man and they look stressed, they look horrible, they look like the life is sucked out of them. And I said, do I want to be that person? No, I don't want to be that person. And it took me over 7 times to leave, but I finally left.
Wow.
And it's been, it's been hard. If right now it feels like you get hurt if you stay and you still get hurt if you go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Such a crazy experience. Oh my gosh. Woo. Okay. Wow. I'm interested in hearing, because when you're dealing with a narcissistic cheater like this, sex in your relationship is highly affected. And a lot of people don't like to talk about this because, I get it. Maybe embarrassment, shame, and all that. And so, totally up to you. But tell me, how was he like sexually with you throughout this relationship?
Nothing.
Okay.
From the beginning, I feel like from the beginning, that's how they like reel you in, and you have a great sex life. And then it's like, I'm too tired, or I'm gassy, or oh, I have a headache, or or they'll go and play games till like very late when you're already asleep, and then they'll come to bed and they're playing games, but they're also communicating with other women at that time. And it got to a point that I can honestly say, and I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed because it's my testimony. It might be, I've seen this meme, like, it might be tea for you, but it's a testimony for me.
Yeah.
And I lived with a person, and I was with them for 4 years. And within those 3 years, we were sexually active maybe like 10 times.
Wow.
And that 10 times was more so towards the end, because I feel like they're like trying to reel me in from pulling away and like getting and breaking free. So, but I was cheated on with so many women, and mostly prostitutes. And it's like, of course that person was tired.
Yeah. Right.
And you try to find, and a lot of people are like, well, he lives with me. When would he have the time? Oh, they have the time. They could be like, I'm going to go put gas at the gas station. And
Thank you.
What? When that gas, in those,
they will make
20
time.
Minutes,
yes.
They will make it happen. They will make it happen, whether it's that or whether pulling up a porn site, and they're going to make it happen.
I'm so glad someone else said it and not me. Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy. I be saying the craziest things. Finally today somebody says it, and it's not me. Because you're spot on. They all cheat. They're just very good at what they do, but they are always up to some dirt. There's always somebody else they're talking to, flirting with, sleeping with, sexting, lying about you. You're like, it's just yeah. There's a
lot of send me pictures to girls. I've been introduced. I mean, I feel like my ex is at the top of the food chain of like, of narcissism, because I've been introduced to people that, are friends, or they're friends, or they're the godparent of a child, and they're friends with that person's husband, but in reality they slept with that person. And it's like, it's the craziest thing, because it's like, I mean, I wasn't raised like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was raised perfectly, but I was never raised to
just
be friends
like
with
that.
people that I've been with. So it's like, you can't even trust, nothing is real. Like, it's literally like living a fake life, and that's what creates cognitive dissonance. Like, you don't understand what reality and what life is. You're trying to understand, and it's insane. Like, no one is a friend. Every single female they have been with or they have tried to be with, it's just it's insane. Like, I honestly don't even know how I got involved with this type of person, but they're that good.
They're good. Good. They're good. Absolutely.
They worked their entire life to build and make that mask, and they will do anything possible to create a mask that another person is going to believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You earlier mentioned a divorce. So he was married prior to you.
Yes.
Was there any other relationships beside that marriage that you are aware of?
Now, at that time, I wasn't. The reason why I'm aware of it now, well, I would say in August, was because I was able to have access to his things. And that's how I found out about all the women and everything.
Okay.
But he had a history of cheating, and the only reason why I gave him a chance was because his exact words were, I've hurt people in the past, and I no longer want to hurt people. Like, I've seen the hurt that I've caused. I do not want to cause that pain on anyone else. I have learned from my mistakes. I've gone to therapy and I've worked on it, and I'm ready to do better. And you are just amazing, and I have this, we just have this connection, and you're everything I've ever wanted. And I believed it. At that point, who am I to say a person's never going to change? At that point, you're being judgmental, and you're saying you're never going to change, and you're putting a person in a box, right? So therefore, I said, okay, well, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna give him grace, and I'm going to believe that what he's telling me is true, because everything else that he's told me hasn't been a lie. So I gave him a chance. Come to find out, the therapy that he was talking about was flying in prostitutes.
Okay. Wow. How long was he married for to the wife?
To that one, he was married to that one for 3 years.
Okay.
And then prior to that one, he was married for, I don't know exactly, but it was a long time.
Wow.
But the last one was the mistress of the first one.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And I'm thinking someone that's in their 40s, they've gone through it and they're ready to settle down, because, it's like that meme, like, you have 30 minutes, 30 minutes, like, you're old. So, but nope.
Not tired. They don't get tired. They just stay in the streets. Woo, okay. Wow.
And now they're engaged to someone else.
So. Yeah. So I'm about to get to that. Let's talk about this new supply situation. Because
I try do not try to ever warn anyone, because it will never work.
So tell me about that.
I provided even like pictures of when he was physical with me, everything, and they did not care. They actually blocked me and then continued to make videos in my house.
This is someone he just met.
Yes.
Wow. And she's already living in your house.
Yes.
Is he also on the house? Or is it just in your name?
We're both on the house, but it was obtained with my information.
Of course it was. Wow.
But, that person thinks that this person is larger than life, and that they're, rolling in money, and that's not
living their best life. Yeah.
Living their best life, living off of credit cards, and that's not the truth. But I would say I'm a girl's girl, but I'm also like, I'm just for what's right. And if I could ever be like, hey, by the way, like, here's the proof. I'm not trying to tell you what to do because you're an adult, but here's the proof. Like, if someone would have warned me, I would have never. And I actually even told him, like, I would have never dated you if I would have known who you were.
Period. Never.
At all.
You would have never gotten far. Yeah. Absolutely. So, okay. So you tried to warn this new girl. They've only been together like 5 minutes and they're engaged. Did you say they were engaged? I thought I heard that.
So,
Okay, they're engaged.
so
Of course.
they are, I guess, well, they met on a reality dating show. And by, I would say, exactly a month from them meeting, it was a month of shooting, and then I guess staying at my house.
Wow. That just tells you a lot about the girl to be okay even move, like you're in this man's house, like you don't have your stuff there, like your stuff isn't there anymore, like there's no signs of
No,
you.
so when I left, I gathered all my things, and then
Okay.
before I had left, I said that it needed to be handled as far as my name coming off of that. Yeah, I'm gonna handle it. Yeah, I'm gonna handle it. And I've tried to handle it, and
Yeah.
I've been ignored every single time.
Gotcha. Okay.
But when I put my, like, I wouldn't say put my foot down, because I've been trying to put my foot down, but when I finally said, this is, like, I've already contacted the landlord, and if you're eligible for that to happen, that's on you. And right away I got a response, and then I was gaslighted. At that point, I didn't speak to that person for 6 months since I left. And that was the first conversation that we had. And it was, you're toxic, you're vindictive, because I want to remove my name for the house. And I'm like, why would I keep a house in my name that I do not
live at? Yeah.
Live at?
Yeah.
I'm liable. I'm held liable for that. And they're like, you're just vindictive and you're toxic and you can't reflect. And I'm like, or this is why we broke up. No, we broke up because you cheated on me with a certain amount of women.
Yeah.
And you put my health at risk.
Yeah.
And that's why we broke up.
Right.
But you can ask her to put it in her name. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But you can't do that, because your new life that you're trying to portray, it goes against what reality is.
How sickening. So how did you guys break up? How was the final discard or ending, however you want to put it? What did it for you?
The final thing was me finding out about another person in December, and then I said, I mean, there's no point of saying anything at this point, because what's the point? If you're not leaving, what's the point of even saying anything? You've already said a million times. But I could not hold it in. So I said something in January while we were on vacation, and they're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, do not gaslight me. I'm not doing this with you anymore. I know what you did. I have the proof that you did it. So that's just what it is. I was, now that I know the term, it's called stonewalled. So I was stonewalled for 5 days on vacation in the same room. Did not speak, did not eat together, nothing at all.
Wow. 5 days.
I was actually left by myself at the location, and it was very difficult for me to get down. Thank God for other people that helped me where I was. But after that, it just felt like it was just completely done. But still, like, holding on for the next couple of months. And the very final thing was, they had gone out of town and they were going to dinner with their boys. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to save a FaceTime for when it's dinner. Because with narcissists, then you have to strategically, know when you're going to FaceTime them, because if you start FaceTiming too much, then they're like, what are you doing? You're trying to be controlling. You're trying to see where I am. So I said, okay, I'm going to text, and then I'm going to save that one FaceTime from when I'm done with my hair so I can show them. They didn't answer, or they answered, but it was like the phone on their lap and the table above, and they're like, oh, I'm eating, we're leaving soon, I'll call you when I leave. And I'm like, oh, where are you? Like, who are you with? Oh, I'm with my boys, this, that, and the third. Then I look up, very easy to look up all the stories at that location, and then there's girls, and you can hear him in the background, and you can see that it's, you know, it's boys, and then there's like these girls that are brought by a madam to dinner, and I see his location, and I see that he's leaving, so I call, no answer, call again, no answer. I call 7 times, no answer. Finally picks up, I guess whenever he told whoever to get out of the car, and you know, when he picks up, he's like, "You're not my effing mother. I don't owe you anything. You don't control me." Meanwhile,
Wow.
I'm at home in another state taking care of his child.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. So at that point, he came back from that weekend, and we were done. We were over. We had a 3-hour conversation.
3 hours.
3 hour. Well, wasn't me talking. That 3 hours was that person destroying my character.
Wow, for 3 hours.
For 3 hours, just destroying my character, and it just felt like someone slapped the shit out of me and said, "Wake up." And that's when I said, "This is what you view me as. You view me that way." And it clicked to me, wow. And I said, if you felt that way around me, why would you want me to be around your kids? Why would you want me to take care of your kids? Why would you even be with me if that's how you truly feel about me? And yeah, that was the end of that. And after that, they still asked me to make them dinner. They still asked me to take care of responsibilities that weren't mine. We were broken up, but we were still living together. And it's insane. It is insane. Wow. And now they're portraying to the world that I am crazy, that I am a stalker, that I am toxic, that the smear campaign has, begun, and everyone thinks that I'm this person. And I said, well, I haven't done that one thing that's crazy, because I could have gone to that house, I could have destroyed everything, I could have called the cops when the girl's in the house, I could have done many things. Yeah. And I haven't done anything because really? I don't want to be anywhere near that.
You're good. You're good, because man, most of us would have probably been fighting and cussing and like, I
did that once. And that's when I confronted him the first time that I caught him cheating, and I did that once, and it's not a proud moment of mine. I literally put my hands on someone, and I always said that's something that I grew out of, and I'm back to doing that in my 30s, and that's not, no.
Take you completely out of character.
They take you out of character, and they push all these buttons, and they just get a little reaction of when you respond, oh, look.
And that makes them right about you. Yeah. I told you she was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. That is so real. Everything you just shared is like extreme narcissistic abuse. Like, it's like, that's like malignant with a little touch of covert. That dude is definitely up there on that spectrum. Like,
yeah, he's the, and it's not because people could be like, oh, well, that's her ex. I get along with all of my exes. Like, all of my exes, and I mean this in the non-conceited way, all my exes want me back. Yeah. And I have no problem with anyone except this one. Yeah. And it's like, these people, they want to have you, portraying to be this like perfect family, this white picket fence. You stay at home, you take care of their responsibilities, their laundry, their dry cleaning, their kids, their responsibilities, but you can't question them about what they do. And and they want to go off and they want to cheat and they want to do whatever they want and they want to have their cake and eat it too. And
yeah,
I mean, for me, like, I've never been married. I don't have kids. Like, I'm not going to, I told myself I'm not going to waste more time than what I have to stay there and suffer. And that's why he's doing the things that he has done.
Yeah.
Because he is angry. That inner child within him is so angry, and his ego is so hurt that I left.
Yes.
Which is a form of rejection for them, and they cannot handle rejection whatsoever.
No. That's why he's doing everything he's doing right now. That's the only way to kind of soothe that pain, or like kind of fill that void. You know what I mean? Like, let me hurry up and find someone else, or make this new person fall completely in love with me, and at least I won't feel like so bad. It's like,
well, that person listen, when I left, he unblocked, because I had once we made and came to an agreement, I said, this is what I need in August to move forward in this relationship. I need passwords. I need, like, we need to try to build some type of trust. After we broke up, he unblocked every single girl that he cheated on me with, refollowed all of them, the specific ones that he flew in when he was going to therapy. And he did that. He befriended my ex-best friends.
Wow.
That they don't even have a relationship with that person. Like, just doing things to try to get me to react in any possible way, like just pulling it from the roof, from the ceiling, from the any type of thing. But what did they do? I started following a girl because of hair, and the one person that I didn't know personally happens to be the girl that's now living in my house. That's not a coincidence.
Wow, no, it's not.
That's not a coincidence.
Wow. Dirty game they play. Oh my God. So I know you told me in the beginning, you know, kind of like as far as where you are now, like you told me you've left. I know that's, you know, that has its ups and downs, and I'm pretty sure it was hard, right? You got attached to the kids and having to pull away from that. Yeah. So
I cried. I stayed longer. I actually stayed longer in the relationship because of my attachment to them. And even like leaving, it was horrible, and it chokes me up because I feel like I'm not a parent, but if I had a child and my child was around a woman that took care of my kid and took them to school, picked them up from school, did their laundry, cooked them food, helped them with homework, if they were sick, took care of them, anything, I would be so gracious to that person. And it took me longer because I was so attached, but at that point, you know, even their child said, you have to go. Like, you have to go because I want to see you be happy and get married. And it took a lot for me to go, but I left. But the hardest thing that I've ever had to do is walk away from someone that I would have given my life for. And walking away from someone that you still love. Yeah. Because that love doesn't just go away.
No, it doesn't.
If you truly love that person, that love doesn't go away. But it's like, that's why they say there's a thin line between love and hate. So where does the love go?
Where does it go?
And to try to work through not making that love turn into hate is extremely hard. It is extremely, extremely hard.
It is. If there was anything that you could share with someone that is maybe in the position you were in at some time ago, and they're maybe scared, like they don't feel like they can leave, or they're strong enough, or maybe they feel like they need the narc that they're dealing with. And this could be male or female. Some people just feel like, I'm getting older, why try with someone else? Or, if you were to give any piece of advice or share what you learned the most out of this experience, what would it be?
I mean, I'm only half a year out of it. And I will say it's a battle between your heart and your mind.
Ooh, girl. Come on now.
When you know that you have to want better for yourself. Like, two things that stuck with me was, one, I have an aunt who stayed with my uncle who is a cheater. And every year it's like a new child pops up or something. And this lady was beautiful, blonde hair, luscious long hair, like beautiful. And she looks horrible, because it's a lifetime of just resentment.
Yeah.
And that's one. And my mother told me, she said, I didn't work my entire life to put you through private school for you to be someone's maid.
Ooh.
Because that is what it is. That's what they want. They want, it's not even a maid. They want their mom.
Their mom, yeah.
Because it's a issue. It's the best thing I can say. I mean, there's times where it's the most horrible feeling ever in my entire life. And sometimes you're like, I should have just stayed. Yeah. This pain is too much it's just so much for me to bear, that I should have just stayed in the relationship dealing with what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
But it's like, you become this woman that your soul detaches from your body. Yeah. And some women, and that's okay for some women. I don't judge them. I can't do it. I am an empath. I feel all the feelings. Like I can't shut my feelings off. Mm-hmm. And it's to want to stay with a narcissist because you have a roof over your head, or because you don't know how you're going to make it, like, figure it out.
Yeah. Sacrifice.
Whether it's sleeping on a friend's floor, or a blow-up bed, or a couch, or whatever it is, figure it out. You just have to try to find the strength. And I would say what saved me, and it's something that it was a come to Jesus moment for me. And that's where I started deepening my faith with God. And if it wasn't for that, I would still be there.
Yeah.
I would still be there.
Yeah.
I would still be there, because I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And the only reason I could just speak for myself, but how I found out the things that I found out was because they came to me in dreams. The exact time that I prayed and everything, and I was on my knees crying, and I could not take it anymore, because I was literally driving myself crazy, consuming my mind with this, because that's what it does. It consumes the mind.
Like parasite.
And it's a parasite. And I got my answer. Then when I prayed the second time or something, I got my answer. Then I got my answer again. And I said, this is how I know that he is real, because every time that I prayed to him, I got that answer.
Yeah.
I said the prayer, Lord, if I've completed my mission in this relationship, and this person is not meant to be in my life anymore, please remove them from my life. The next day, it was completely done.
Wow. So much of what you shared resonates so strongly, because that's exactly how it goes for most of us. Like, all the way down to that fire in your soul that burns so vividly that you break down and fall on your knees and you just like kind of surrender it all to God. You're like, you know what? I can't do it anymore and I'm tired and I have to just go to you about it. I know I haven't talked to you in about a year, Lord, but look, release me from this. If this is not for me, please release me from this because I can't do it.
I learned how to give someone grace. I learned how to try to, learn on forgiveness, which is something that's very new for me. And I tried to give that person the opportunity to change for a year, exactly a year. And every month it was just,
it was getting worse.
Coming out, and to the point I had to say, I don't know why you do it. If I'm gonna find out, I'm gonna dream it.
Yeah.
It's gonna come to me somehow. I'm going to find out. So why do you even put yourself in that situation? At this point, I feel like you want me to catch you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sucks and it hurts, and it hurts when you see that there's a rebound and. But the thing is that if you take yourself out of the situation and you look back to how your relationship started and then you start to analyze the rest of the relationship, they're always jumping from one into another. They already have someone else lined up.
It's the same cycle.
It is the same cycle.
Yeah.
It is once you take yourself out of that situation and you look at it and you're like, are they treating them better? Are they going to start doing the things that I wanted them to do? They're not. They're going to continue to pretend just how they were pretending.
The way they did it with you. Yeah. They're just going to get better. Yeah. If anything, they've learned how to make it look better with the next person. And
the thing is, it gets worse with the next person.
Absolutely.
Like, I know for me, since I was able to literally get into everything, and the next person is never going to have that access.
Yeah.
They're never going to have that access.
Yeah.
And they're just going to be
so blind. Yeah, they're going to be so blindsided. Absolutely. Because you exposing him and you discovering him like that, he can't afford for the next person to find that.
No.
So he's going to master his,
going on a show to portray to the world, I'm not the problem. My ex was the problem. I'm this great guy and I'm charming and I'm nice and I'm this, to the extent to go on national television to try to clean up their image.
This is why I love talking about how they walk into their karma, because that's exactly it right there. To me, that's overplaying your hand. Because no matter what, you're always going to expose what you are. And now you're going to expose it on a bigger scale, it sounds like a national TV level. Because whoever this person is, it's gonna fall apart eventually, because this guy is who he is and he's stuck in a cycle. So even if she doesn't find out as much as you did, he's going to start mistreating her at some point, and it's going to turn into another failed relationship, which is what he does. That's who he is. This is his career. So
the sad part is that it's going to take that person time.
That's the sad part.
They're very good at wasting people's time.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
it's something that obviously it took me time, but once I'm living with that person, full time, and even though I did not have discernment, I have intuition. And those are two different things that people tend to think is the same. I've always been an intuitive person, but I didn't have discernment. And that's something that I now have learned, but it's just they're just gonna waste their time. They're gonna waste their time, and time is something, I think for me, the hardest thing is the time that I have wasted, how much of myself I poured into the family and the kids, because I don't care what anyone says. It is harder to be someone's stepmother than to be someone's mother.
Ooh.
Because that child came out of you. That child did not come out of me. I do not have any duty to take care of anyone's child, to bathe them, to potty train them, to do their hair, to cook for them, to take care of them when they're sick. I don't have to do any of that, especially when I don't have a ring on my hand. I'm not married to someone. So it's saddening, because time is something that we can never get back. And then for me, I would say I'm a person that when I love, I give my all, and I gave everything. And even when I was pouring from an empty cup, I still gave. So now being out of it, you're like, I'm depleted. I have nothing to even give myself. To heal, because I'm completely empty. And I was established before I met that person. I had a great job. I was putting myself through school, and I don't have any of those things anymore. I don't have my place. I don't even have my furniture, because I sold everything when we moved in together. My job, I don't have that anymore. And actually, they were sleeping with someone from my job. So I would never want to go back there. But you got to put your faith in God. You have to, because if you are able to make it out of something so toxic, then, you're blessed.
Absolutely.
You're blessed, even though it might not feel like a blessing at that time. And I'm the first one to tell everyone, I am in the thick of it. I'm 6 months out. It takes time for that mask to fall off.
It does. Man, just a disaster. But this has been great, though. What a wonderful, inspiring story. Like I said, I think a couple times already through this, I'm like, this is something that resonates deeply with me, and I know it's going to resonate a lot with so many of you watching this. And I don't know what it's going to do for you, but I pray that it helps you on your healing journey. I pray that it gives you a new perspective, a new thought, maybe. Just look at it differently. Like she said, step out of, what'd you say? You said something, I want to say exactly how you said it.
Step out of the box.
Step out of the box, like step out of the situation. Like stop absorbing what you're dealing with. Step out and observe it. Like look at it from the outside, because being in it, you're completely blind to so much. You're going to be fighting the wrong way. You're going to be worried about the wrong things.
And you have that too. Like, I like to add that, I don't know if you had this feeling, but it felt like my body was in the situation, but my mind was gone. Like my soul left my body. And I could just and I was doing laundry, and I was putting, their youngest to bed, and I was, I had just finished everything, and I fed the dogs, and I fed everyone, and everything is done, and I'm in school full time, and I'm taking care of patients, doing my internship at the same time, and I'm working at the same time. And I'm just what is this? And I'm looking, I felt like it really felt like I was dead.
Ooh.
And I'm looking, my soul's looking from above, and it's what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah.
And you're pouring into these people. They're sucking your soul out of you.
Yeah.
And to the point that you're just empty. You are literally just a robot for them.
Yep. Well, guys, share your thoughts below. Please let me know what you got from this, how you can relate to this, how you resonated with this, and if this was helpful for you. I am moved and touched by it. I'm also validated because the experience was so similar. It's almost scary, but it makes me feel good. It helps me know that walking away, embracing the healing journey was the best thing I could have ever done for myself. And you probably feel the same way. Like always, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you on the next episode. Stay blessed and stay true.